Hey there, it's Kathy with Be Creative with Kathy. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I like to do card tutorials here on Facebook, and then I take this from Facebook and I post it to my YouTube. So whether you're watching on Facebook or if you're watching on YouTube, just a quick thank you for watching. If you like what you see, you could subscribe, you can like my Facebook page, all that stuff. I appreciate all of that. But let me show you what I have for you today. So it's a quick corner fold card, right? Okay, we're going to use the Sophisticated Sled. So this is an online exclusive stamp set that comes with some dies, and we're going to use these ice skates. I decided I was in a swap and I wanted to make some swaps using this stamp set, but I wanted to focus on the ice skates rather than the sled because I think they're stinking adorable. So let me show you the card that I made for my swap. So the corner fold card that I made looks like this. And like I said, it focuses on those little ice skates rather than on the sled. And you open it up and it looks like that. Now, I haven't done a corner fold card in a long time. So I did some YouTube watching and got some ideas. And so I'll have some tricks and ideas to show you how to make this card a little bit simpler. Is that a word? Anyway, it is now. Okay. However, I made all my swaps. I have them all here. Look, they're all done and ready to go. And then I checked the invite for the swap that I'm in tonight. It's a monthly swap that I go to with a bunch of demonstrators called Kindred Inkers. So you probably heard of me talk about it before. But I don't think I have enough swaps, so I decided I was going to make a couple more. I don't have any more of this designer series paper. And to be honest with you, it's winter something. But you can go on my gallery. This card with all the measurements and supplies is on my gallery, becreativewithkathy.com, so you can see that. But like I said, I don't have any more of this paper, and I can't remember the name. That's why you have to go to my gallery. So I decided for this demonstrator swap, I'm going to use some paper that Stampin' Up! Gave us. They had a sales challenge back in April, and then they threw a party. They gave us 3 free paper. So I wanted to kind of do the card in a pink. So I'm going to use this design. Now, you can't find this designer series paper anywhere. It is just for demonstrators, but it doesn't matter. What we're learning today is how to do the corner fold card. Okay, so I'm going to start here with a piece of thick, all my pieces and parts are in here, thick basic white, and a piece of that designer series paper that I talked about. But this is, I know this is 5 1/4 by 4, and we're going to just layer on the front of my card base. Now, this is 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, scored at 4 1/4, just your basic half sheet card base. Okay. When I put my designer series paper on there, I want to make sure I have adhesive covering the whole thing. So I'm going to make sure I get my sides really good, and the top, the bottom, and then my side again. On the inside or in the middle, I'm going to make sure I have a good coverage of tape, because when we do that fold, we want our card base and our designer series paper to stay together. So I'm going to just layer this on the front of my card here, and now we need to cut that corner. So like I said, Rachel Tessman came up with a brilliant idea, and that is to take a 3 by 3 Post-it and place it up here in the top right corner. Because basically what we're going to do is we're going to cut along the, I guess, the middle or the inside, whatever this part is of the Post-it note. So when you're cutting your paper, you can figure out if you're cutting in the right place by having this as like a trace sample cutout. I don't know, this is what we want to cut around. Okay, so 5/8 inch is the magic number. I'm going to put my cardstock in here at 3, because we know our Post-it note is 3 inches, and then I'm going to start down 5/8 inch from the top, and if this is 5 1/2, that would be 4 7/8. So not my scoring blade, I'm going to take my cutting blade, and like I said, start, and I'm looking at the notch over here and my little 4/8 right here. So it's at 4/8, and I'm going to cut down to this Post-it note right here by using the notch over here. So let me stand up so I can make sure I can see over what I'm doing, and I can stop right at the right place. right there. So see, it's at the edge of my Post-it note, and up here it's at 5/8 of an inch from here, or 4 7/8. Okay, so now we need to cut this side. So I'm going to take my cardstock, turn it this way, put it at 3 inches, because again, we know our Post-it note is 3 inches. I'm going to start at 5/8 and go down, well, to 3 inches, or to this Post-it note here, the end of the Post-it note, just like that. And you can kind of feel when you've reached the end. You take your Post-it note away, and now you have that perfect cut mark right there on your cardstock. So the Post-it note is the answer to make it really easy. Post-it note and 5/8 inch, that's what you need to know, okay? Now I'm gonna make it easier on myself, because I wanna flip this. I'm gonna pull this corner down to here, but I wanna make it easier to fold this. So I'm gonna open up my paper trimmer here, and I'm gonna line up where this cut mark ends, and this cut mark ends with like the tray, with the groove of my paper trimmer, and then try to get it straight, maybe not perfect, but then with a bone folder, I'm gonna just make a little score mark from that top cut across right here, and it might not be, it's not where I want it. There we go. But it might not be perfect, but it's going to help a little bit. We're going to just make a fold like that, and a little score like that. So now, I don't know if you can see them or not, but I have those score lines. That way, when you flip this here now, it's going to make your cardstock fold a little better, and it won't have those rough edges that you get when you don't use score lines. There you go. So now, making sure that this looks pretty straight going down, and this looks straight, you know, this way with this. Now I have that corner fold in my card just like that. Now my cut here looks kind of rough, so I'm gonna smooth it up, and it's a little, I'm gonna try to make this a little bit more so it's straighter here, there, and just fix it a little bit. So there, now it looks a little bit more straight this way and this way, and it's still, so it looks there. Now there is your corner fold card. Now we need to make this a little bit more prominent, so I'm going to take a piece, this is Petal Pink, that's just a color in my designer series paper, and this is 5 1/4 by 4. I'm going to just lay this down on the inside of my card. Now that we've got the corner fold up in there, this part is going to be easy. Now we just need to decorate our card. So with this in here, on the inside, and now look how that corner fold stands out even more. Yeah? Okay, I want this to stay down, so I'm going to just take a dimensional and place it up here as far in the corner as I can. Right there, and then fold that down. And now this is going to stay. Now remember I said to put it in the corner because you really don't want it to show in here. Plus this would hold your card shut. So we got to have it like that, okay? Let's do this one more time so it stays folded. All right, so let's decorate our card now. I'm going to do a little bit of stamping here. I'm going to stamp on, this is just a scrap of basic white. This is going to be the inside. I'm going to set that aside for later. This is just a 1/2 by 4 inch strip of Petal Pink, nope, Pretty in Pink, sorry, that we're going to put right here later because we're stamping now. This I have cut from the detailed, everyday detail dies. Just this little triangle right here. I love the stitching on this, and it's just the perfect size for the sentiment in our stamp set. I'm going to stamp that in Melon Mambo with the words right here that said, let's decorate the season with happiness. So we'll stamp that down real quick right here and get all of our little pieces and parts ready to decorate our card now. There we go. On the inside piece, I want to stamp the other sentiment that says, I hope your days are filled with fun and laughter. So I'm going to just take that. I believe that this piece is 3 inches by 4 1/4, but like I said, the measurements are on the gallery. That's where I suggest you go for the correct measurements in all of them. Look, I just stuck my thumb in my ink pad. That's why you wear dark pants, because then you just wipe your hand on your pants. That was not good. Okay, a little bit of pretty in pink. I'm going to just take the snowflakes, same part of the stamp set, and just kind of decorate our little words here. That's all the stamping that we have for the insides. I'm going to set that aside for later. Now on this scrap, I'm going to go ahead and bring in those ice skates, and I'm going to stamp them in black memento ink because I'm going to color them with my pretty in pink Stampin' Blends. So on my little scrap paper here, just take my skates and set them down, let that ink sink in so I get a good image, and then boom, I have my ice skates. Okay, let's go ahead and cut our ice skates out. Where's the dies? This stamp set comes with tons of what I call independent dies, and this is one of them that does kind of like a half wreath. And then here's our ice skates. It also does the sled, and it cuts out, oh, and a little pair of ice skates with the blades and the shoelaces. It also cuts out all the images from the stamp set, which is really nice. Let's set this all aside, make room. I'm going to use a little piece of green tape here so I can set my ice skates up so they're nice. I see all the borders in them, and then I can just use my green tape here to hold that down. Now I'm also going to cut out one of those little wreath pieces, bring in the little guy here, my plates. Now remember, with the little guy, you have to have plate number 1, a plate number 2. Now my plate, or they're both plate number 2, but this one's pretty scratched up. That's what I do the die cutting on. So I use the same plate every time and try to keep my top plate pretty nice so I can see through it to see that my dies haven't moved or anything. And you got to make sure that you stagger them up here at the top. Okay, and I'm going to run that through. And now we have a cute little pair of ice skates and this wreath. Now, watch out, I'm going to throw it against the table a couple times. If I can get him. Oh, I might not have to because he's stuck to my die. Little intricate pieces sometimes are difficult. And it didn't. There we go. Jeez, okay, now you just throw it on your table a couple times. Pretty soon that paper will bounce out of there, and then you can take the paper out of the die carefully so I don't pull off those little leaves there. And now we have that little, what I call half wreath piece there. I'm going to put these back in my die set before I lose them. Okay, so now since we're doing pink, I'm going to take my pretty in pink Stampin' Blends, and I'm going to start with the dark, and I'm going to just put a little bit of dark pink where the tongue of my ice skate would be, because I think that would be a little bit darker than the other parts. And this is just a really simple, easy way to get shading without being artistic, because Lord knows I am not artistic. I'm pretty crafty. But when it comes to artistic, I am not. This makes me, Stampin' Blends just make me feel like I am. Okay, we're just going to quickly color those little skates. Pretty pink to match the other pinks in our card. Nothing fancy. If you know me, you know I like to do quick cards, although they still have a little bit of wow to them, but they're not fancy. Okay, so we have our pink skates now. Now on the bottom of my skate here, I wanted to do that in some kind of silver because ice skate blades are silver. So let me find a piece of scratch paper, and I can just use that piece that I die cut from here. And I'm going to use this pearlized enamel effects that comes in silver. I'm going to This part is going to make me a little nervous, but we'll see what happens. I'm going to just put a little bit of these effects here, these pearlized effects on my scrap of cardstock. And then with a paintbrush, I'm going to paint those little blades of my ice skate. This way it has that silver touch to it, it has a little bit of bling to it, and it's just going to make our ice skates really pretty. And this way our it looks more of like a metal than it would if we just colored them with the Stampin' Blends. It just takes a few minutes. You have to be patient with me while I try to smooth out. Notice I can't paint and talk at the same time. There we go. Let's do the other one. Now I think, I could be wrong, well I know they have several purposes, the pearlized. You can just put little daubs and make it look like gems or bling on your card. You can paint with it, you can just, you know, scrape it across your cardstock. There's so much you can do with these little bottles. And these little bottles, like you can tell, I hardly had any on my cardstock. They go a long way. So they're a great thing for Christmas when you're doing your Christmas cards. If you need a lot of embellishments, you can kind of just make your own. Okay, so that's good enough. They're not perfect, but when that dries, it's going to be just right. Can you see that? Maybe not. Let me try to lift it up, and you can see that little bit of pearl. Yeah, probably not, but it does make a difference. Okay, let me put this in the trash. I don't want to put my hand in there later. I'll clean my paintbrush later. Let's go ahead and decorate our card. Okay, so like I said, this is just a little strip I'm going to put on the front, kind of like how you'd put a piece of ribbon there. I just don't want, you can't wrap it around or anything, so a little strip of paper would give it the same kind of fancy, just a little bit, a little touch there. We're going to put our sentiment up on dimensionals. Now, if you go to my gallery to get the measurements and the supply, it's going to have all the supplies for the Lost Lagoon card. Did I tell you that already? So it's going to have all the supplies to here for this card. But yet, like I said, my pink, you can just figure it out as to what colors you want to use on your card and then use those sizes, those measurements. Okay. Then this square here, this stitch square, came from the Stylish Shape dies. This is the largest square in the die set, and it fits perfect on that square that we just cut and folded. This, you set that right there, and see how my card's starting to come along. This needs to be, oh, and I didn't get it straight. Let's see if I can get it off and get it on there straighter. That was not even close. Come on, Kathy. In fact, I'm going to put a little bit more adhesive up in this corner. See if I can't get it. I'm going to work on this corner here. There, now it's going to be better. There, that's better. Phew. Okay. And then this piece, I'm going to put adhesive on the back. And then I'm going to lay it on the front of my card like this. And then just barely touch the back down, because I want to make sure that I get it straight. So if I just barely touch that, now I can kind of maneuver and make sure that that is straight. Right there. And then it just folds over and covers it nicely. Okay, we need to finagle our skates a little bit. This dries really fast, but I'm not going to touch it to make sure. Maybe it's not dry all the way yet, but I'm going to remove this bow from my skates. Otherwise, it's just a little bit too big to fit on my square. So there we go, like that. And then with some dimensionals, I'm going to put dimensionals on the back. And I'm not going to turn it over and lay it on my table either, because I don't want that to get on my table. Like that. And then a mini dimensional. Where did my mini dimensionals go? Here they are. I'm going to put a mini dimensional right here at the top. Now you see the mini dimensional, if I can get off my sheet here, yeah, is going to stick out on the sides, and that's a good thing because we're going to use that sticky to put on our half wreath here. So I'm going to just set this down here on my card like that. My little half wreath, I'm going to take some liquid glue and just put little dots at the bottom, about 3 or 4 of the little petals here, because I want that to adhere to my card. But that's the only glue, oh, that was a big dot, that I'm going to put on my little half wreath like this. And then I'm going to take the center, and you can find the center because it has this little hole right here that the die's cut. And mine's not coming out, I'm not going to mess with it, but that's how I know I'm going to put that right over the dimensional and then stick those down. So now it still has some pop to it, but yet it's nice and stuck down to the card and won't get snagged and tore off like that. Cute, right? Okay, so now we just need some embellishments. So I'm going to use these. These are another online exclusive. These, what are these called? Adhesive back snowflake assortment. I'm going to use the gold. Now they have adhesive on there, but sometimes if you pull on the edge, your glue dot sticks to the plastic. So I'm going to use my scissors here. Nope, I can't use my scissors, they're too big. I'm going to use my pokey tool here and get under that glue dot and just set it right up here. And now totally covers up that the dimensional that was showing through. I'm going to take a middle size one here and just place it there, and then a little one here and place it right over there. And then of course I think we need some pearl in the center of that little snowflake. So these are the blooming pearls, and they have these really pretty pink ones. And I'm going to just take those and set them right there in the center. They have these little ones that fit just right on your snowflakes. Okay, and then the last thing I think our card needs is a little bit of Wink Stella onto our ice skates. And now I'm going to put a thick coat. You know, back in the old days when they had the glitter, I don't know, it just reminds me of kind of like an antique when you get a really thick coat of Wink Stella on these ice skates. And this reminds me of an antique ice skate, so when we put the antiquing of the sorry, I can't do two things of the Wink Stella on there, it gives it that nice touch. So just a little, well, not a little, a really thick coat of Wink Stella, and you probably can't see it, but boy, I can. Maybe, nope, oh well. And there's your card. So there's my swap for tonight. It's a fancy fold swap. I think they'll like my card. Then they have their choice. They can either take the pink one or they can do the Lost Lagoon one. Now you need to let me know, which one do you like better? Do you like the pink better, or do you like the Lost Lagoon? Alrighty, that's what I have for you today. Hope you give the corner fold card a try, and I'll see you back here next week. Take care. Bye-bye.